Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back. In this video, we're gonna talk about how to market a new church. Now, there's a lot of new church plants out there that make some mistakes. Some of them can even cost you tens of thousands of dollars and a lot of visitors. So we're gonna be talking about those. And we're also gonna give you a framework that has produced over 6,000 plan your visits in the last 18 months. Coming up. Hey, what's up guys? My name is Chris Abbott, but all my friends just call me Abbo. In this video, we're actually gonna be giving you a framework that has brought in over 6,000 new visitors for churches all over the country just in the last few months. And we're also gonna be talking about what to do on social media and what not to do that might actually be keeping people away from your church. Let's dive in. Okay, so in his research, Tom Rainer found that 84% of churches are either plateaued or in decline. Now, while that's a super disturbing trend, there's actually a reason for it, right? The problem is that most churches are perfectly equipped to reach a world that doesn't exist anymore. Too many churches are using 20th century methods to reach a 21st century world, and that's why we're here to help you figure out what's working right now. Okay, so in this video, we're gonna be talking about how to market a new church, but let me start by talking about some of the things that did not make the list. Okay, number one is TV. If you guys are still using TV and radio and those types of things, they're not working anymore, right? Nobody watches commercials anymore. In fact, I bet if you're watching this video right now, there's probably a good chance you haven't watched a single commercial all year long. Am I right? The only commercials that people actually watch anymore are the ones at the Super Bowl, right? So nobody watches commercials, nobody listens to the radio, right? Everybody has DVR or TiVo, so we skip through all the commercials. On radio, you have Spotify or Apple Music, right? Or you go on YouTube and actually watch a bunch of music, right? Nobody's listening to TV and radio anymore. And here's what else didn't make the list is direct mail. Okay, now around here, we call it direct fail. The problem with direct mail is that the amount of direct mail that Americans get in the last 10 years has doubled in the last 10 years. In fact, it's become such an epidemic, it's become such a problem that apartment complexes and condos all over the country in US and Canada have actually started putting out giant trash bins just for people to throw away their direct mail in. So think about that. You're going out there and you're spending $5, $10, $15, $20,000 on a direct mail piece, and people are just throwing it in a giant garbage can. So they never even saw your marketing message, right? And the problem with direct mail is that it's one and done. You do it one time and then they never come back again. The framework that we're gonna use in this video is actually gonna be able to help you, and you're gonna be able to use it week in and week out every single week. So with this strategy, you're gonna be able to use this pre-launch and post-launch. So we're actually gonna talk about two specific strategies. Both of them I recommend leading up to your launch, and then the other one you also wanna use post-launch to get people back in the door. One of the biggest mistakes that new churches make whenever they start doing this is that they forget to continue to market after they launch, right? So you spend all this time, money, and resources trying to launch your church, and then you forget to get those people back in the door, right? And so if you're a church planner or you're a new church, then you already know this. Typically what happens is you have a huge launch, right? And then the next week you have about half of what you launched at, and then the next week you settle at about half of that, right? So if you launch and you have 100 people at launch, you'll probably have about 50 the next week, and you'll probably settle at about 25 to 30. Our goal is to give you a framework so that that doesn't happen. In fact, we actually had a church in Florida who used the exact strategy that I'm about to outline for you here. And they literally, in the 4 weeks leading up to their launch, they ended up having 107 new families plan a visit for the launch service. And on launch day, they had 333 people show up to their very first service. The best part is they settled at 150, right? So typically, according to traditional church planning statistics, they probably should have settled around 75 or 80, right? But they actually settled at 150, and within 5 months using this strategy, because they didn't stop, they kept going, and they actually broke the 200 barrier within 5 months. So they went from 0 to 200 in 5 months. They had 107 plan your visits at their very first service. Just a couple of months later on Easter, they ended up having 365 people. And so we're gonna dive in and talk specifically about the exact framework that you can use to lead up to your church launch and then afterwards. Okay, so there's two types of social media campaigns that you want to run in order to market a new church. Okay, and again, this is going to work leading up to your launch, and this is going to work after launch to get people back in the door. These are campaigns that you can run every single Sunday, and you don't have to turn them off. Okay, so the first strategy that we're going to use is called an invite campaign. Now, we're going to run Facebook ads, and the reason we're using Facebook and not Twitter or Snapchat or some of these other platforms that are out there is because Facebook actually has 2.8 billion users and 1.7 billion log in every single day. And the average time spent per visit is 38 minutes. So think about it. If there was a place in your church where every single person in town went to for at least 38 minutes a day, all you would do is set up shop there and invite people to church. See, Mark Zuckerberg has given us that opportunity with Facebook, and we need to take advantage of it. So the best way to do with this invite campaign, step one, we're going to run a Facebook ad. Okay, Facebook ad is going to be pretty simple. What you want to do is you either want to use a picture of you as the pastor and your spouse. We've just found that whenever you have you and your spouse in there, it actually converts way better. In fact, a lot of times we've actually been able to cut the cost per click in half simply by adding a pastor's wife into it. So if you're married, the best thing that you can do is actually have your spouse in the video with you. This can be a picture that you can use, or you can do a video. Now, if you're going to do a picture, what we recommend is actually finding something where you look laid back. Don't have a pose shot where you're staring at the camera. You don't want a background where it looks like you were posing for a picture. What you want is something kind of laid back. So you don't want to be wearing a suit or anything like that. It's best if you have something like, if you ever take a selfie on date night with your wife, perfect. Those are the types of videos. You want something that looks kind of laid back. In fact, we had a church a few years ago here who kind of fought with us on this and said, no, we want branding, and our pastor's going to look this way, and we always use this headshot, and the cost per click was through the roof. We literally switched it over. I finally convinced them. I said, listen, I found a picture on your Facebook page, and it was a picture of the pastor and the son fishing, and all of a sudden it cut the cost per click in half, and the amount of Plan Your Visit families they got doubled overnight simply by switching out the picture. Because people aren't looking for someone who's unapproachable and who's wearing a suit and tie and all that kind of thing. It's fine if you preach in that, but in your video, you need to look approachable. Whether you're shooting a selfie video, whether you're shooting a picture, it just needs to be laid back. Now, a few things about the video. If you're going to do the video, we recommend shooting it vertically on an iPhone. So one of the things you always want to do when you're posting on any social media platform, you always want to post native content, meaning your content looks like everything else that's posted on there. Look at Facebook. When your friend goes on there and shoots a selfie video talking about the brand new restaurant they just found and how they just had an amazing date night and talk about the food they just ate, they don't shoot that on a brand new DSLR with lower thirds and background music. No, when people see that, we've now become conditioned to think that's a commercial, and we just keep scrolling. You have to stop the scroll, and so you have to put out content that looks like everything else. That's why a selfie video will outperform a professional video every single time. We've tested this thousands of times, literally thousands of times since 2014, and I'm telling you, you want to shoot a selfie video. Okay, so you're going to shoot a Facebook ad, preferably a video ad where you shoot it vertically on an iPhone, 15 to 30 seconds. And if you don't know how to shoot a selfie video, just grab a young person, a millennial, and they can show you how to shoot a selfie video, right? You don't want to have it below down here where it's looking up your nose or anything like that, right? You want to hold it up in front of you, maybe off to the side, maybe up just a little bit higher. Again, if you don't know, just ask a young person. They take selfies all the time. They can help you out. So you want to shoot a selfie video ad. We're going to run a Facebook ad to a landing page. Now, when I talk about a landing page, this is really important. We are not talking about your homepage or your about page or your new here page. You actually want to build out a Plan Your Visit page. Okay, on your Plan Your Visit page, what you want to do is you want to use lots of what I call snack size information. So you want to use headlines, sub-headlines, a lot of bullet points, numbered lists. If you just put tons of content on there and it's these big, huge content blocks of just paragraphs of text, nobody reads that, right? The way that we've learned is we now scan, and that's how we process information. So scientists have actually proved this. This is how our brain reads, right? So we take these snack size pieces of information. So as people begin to scan down your landing page, you need to make it easily scannable. And basically, you just want to talk about your church, and you want to have a single call to action. And this is really important. A lot of people will try to put a bunch of different things on their landing page, or they'll say, Chris, I don't actually need a landing page. I'll just send people to my homepage. The problem with your homepage is that you're saying 12 or 15 different things on your homepage, right? You might be talking about small groups. You might be talking about your set list that week. You might be talking about an upcoming event that you have, right? And talking about tithing and giving and all kinds of stuff. There's too many calls to action, right? So you want to lead everyone to do exactly one thing, and that call to action is Plan Your Visit. Okay, so you're running a Facebook ad to a landing page where people can plan a visit. Okay, so before we go any further, I want to encourage you, if you know any church planners or anyone who's getting ready to launch a church or anyone who has launched a church and is trying to grow their church plant, man, send them this video, right? We're always putting out new videos all the time, fresh new content. You can like, comment, subscribe, and you can help them out by sending them this video so they can use these strategies to grow their new church. Okay, so we're talking about the invite campaign. We're going to run Facebook ad to a landing page. The next part is Plan Your Visit. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Plan Your Visit, this is simply giving people the opportunity to sign up and schedule a visit to your church for this Sunday. This works really, really well if you're planning a new church because you can simply have people plan a visit for the launch. So if you're a month out, 2 months out, doesn't matter. Just let them know when your first service is going to be, and they're going to plan their visit for that first service. Now, you're going to collect their name, email, and phone number. That way you can follow up with them a couple of days days before your very first launch. You can send them a personal video and you can invite them out to your very first service. Okay, so when it comes to putting Plan Your Visit on your website, we actually recommend using a solution like Text in Church in order to put a Plan Your Visit solution on your website. If you actually look in the description below, we actually have a link down there. You can actually get 90 days free of Text in Church. You can actually give it a shot, see how Plan Your Visit works for you, and you don't have to pay anything until you get 90 days in. All right, so somebody plans a visit, what do you do next? You get a notification on your phone. What we recommend is you have to call them within 15 minutes. The reason is it's kind of like a lead in digital marketing, right? If a lead comes in, you need to call them right away. It's the same thing with your church. When someone is at their hottest and they're excited about your church and they actually went in and they're so excited that they signed up, scheduled a visit to bring their family to your church, and they gave you their name, email, and phone number. Now you need to call them within 15 minutes. And all you want to do is just introduce yourself, right? Hey, what's up, John? This is Pastor Chris. Hey, I saw you plan to visit for this Sunday. I just wanted to reach out, introduce myself personally, and answer any questions you might have. Okay, super simple. Just use a script like that. You just want to be personable. You want to have a conversation. If they don't answer, you just leave them a voicemail, and then you send them a text message with the same exact information. And the best part is they'll respond with the type of communication that they like. If they prefer phone calls, they'll call you back. If they prefer text messages, they'll text you back. Okay, so when we launched Plan Your Visit at my church, we actually increased our first-time visitors by 42% in the first month, 60% in the second month, 87% in the third month, and 113% in the fourth month. When we started going and teaching this to other churches, they started seeing similar results as well. So I'm going to encourage you, if you're not using Plan Your Visit right now, it's really, really important. And I'm telling you, you're going to see your visitors skyrocket if you just use this framework that we've been talking about here. Okay, so the very last thing that you want to do is you want to follow up, okay? There are 3 rules when it comes to assimilation and turning a first-time visitor into a second-time visitor. And the 3 rules are follow up, follow up, follow up, okay? This is one of the most important things that you can do, because once you get them in, don't forget them. Don't think, hey, they'll make it back whenever they're ready, right? You want to follow up with them and you want to invite them back to church. You want to have another call to action, right? And at this point, the call to action is just, hey, come back to church this Sunday. Okay, so what we recommend doing is they visit on Sunday. On Monday morning, you're going to text them a selfie video, right? So you're actually just going to shoot this on an iPhone or an Android and a smartphone. And basically, you're just going to use their first names, right? You want to keep it personal. You want them to know that this video is for them personally. And you're just going to say, hey, John, Pastor Chris here. Hey, I just want to thank you for coming out yesterday. Man, we had so much fun meeting you and your kids, little Johnny and Susie. I know they had a great time in the kids area. So I just want to thank you guys for coming out here. And I just want to invite you back next Sunday. I mean, we're doing it same time, same place, 10:30. Can you make it? Okay, so keep it personal, use their names, use their kids' names, thank them for coming, invite them back out the next Sunday, and then end it with the question, right? So there's something called open loops in neurolinguistic programming. And so an open loop is when you ask a question, it opens a loop in their brain, and now if that's the last part of the video, now they have to respond to you in order to close that loop, right? So what you don't want to do is you don't want to keep talking, right? Like, can you make it? Man, we sure would love to host you guys again. And nope, don't keep talking. Just say, can you make it? Will you be there? And then end the video. And now you're going to actually get into a back and forth in a conversation. You're going to see people will be blown away when you start using a Monday morning selfie video 24 hours after they showed up. And then finally, you just want to use something. Again, we recommend Text in Church to create a 12-week follow-up system so that you can plug them in and you can automatically, using email, text messages, and personal phone calls, follow up with them again and again. Because remember, the 3 rules of assimilation are follow up, follow up, follow up. Okay, so we actually have a second strategy that you can use to run Facebook ads and actually bring people in. This is actually a ministry-based strategy as opposed to an invite strategy. So you can check out the video over here. It's called How to Market Your Church for Growth. I think it's going to help you.